Today, we journey through a fascinating episode of Roman history that transformed the empire and reshaped the very idea of leadership. This script explores the turbulent reigns of three emperors, Gaius Caligula, Claudius, and Nero, whose actions impacted the political, military, and social dimensions of an ancient civilization. Drawing on well-known events and vivid anecdotes, we will uncover how absolute power, personal ambition, and dramatic public spectacles created a legacy that remains a topic of discussion even today. As we delve into the lives of these rulers, we will witness how charisma, political maneuvers, and even madness can change the fate of an empire. Our analysis is clear and relatable, ensuring that every viewer will leave with a comprehensive understanding of the complexities of their reigns. Join us on this historical adventure where creativity meets vivid storytelling and every detail is brought to life with energy and excitement. Prepare to be captivated by the drama, intrigue, and bold decisions that define these ancient leaders and continue to influence modern perceptions of power and legacy. Let this exploration ignite your imagination and deepen your appreciation for the enduring lessons of history, inviting reflection on both ancient and modern leadership. Following the death of Tiberius, the mantle of power passed unexpectedly to Gaius Caligula, the young heir with a storied military nickname. Hailing from the lineage of Germanicus, Caligula was recognized from a young age in the Roman legions, where his childhood sobriquet hinted at future greatness. Nevertheless, his accession was immediately marked by political tension as the Senate, still reeling from Tiberius's reign, quickly legitimated his rule by conferring the powers of the Principate. The symbolic gesture of denying a posthumous deification to Tiberius set the stage for future conflicts. Even in the early days of his term, the seeds of controversy were sown as he adopted his cousin, only to later have him executed. This series of bold and unsettling decisions not only revealed the precarious balance between imperial authority and senatorial influence, but also hinted at the volatile nature of Caligula's personality and approach to power. Indeed, in the early months of his reign, Caligula's actions sparked optimism and change across Rome. He quickly initiated reforms that included pardoning political offenders, banishing informers, and reducing oppressive taxes that had burdened the citizenry. His penchant for lavish public entertainments and generous donations further endeared him to the Senate, the military, and the people at large. As the city plebs gathered to witness grand spectacles, his performance as ruler seemed promising and transformative. Beyond policy adjustments, his personal charm and charismatic presence helped paint a picture of renewal and possibility. Behind the scenes, however, whispers of inherited frailty and a mysterious illness began to spread. Despite these concerns, in those very early days, the empire felt a spark of hope that perhaps the scars of previous autocratic rule were finally healing, setting the stage for both admiration and foreboding under his future rule. A promising beginning, full of contrast. Caligula's reign increasingly aligned with the ideals of absolute power and autocracy, echoing the grand Hellenistic monarchies of the East. Raised in the household of profound Roman tradition, yet influenced by Eastern splendor, he embraced an extravagant vision of self-deification. In a dramatic display, he claimed the honor of deification for himself and even his sisters, blurring the boundaries between mortal and divine. His ambitious construction projects, including the Grand Bridge stretching from the Palatine to the Capitoline Hill, symbolized his desire to commune directly with Jupiter, his divine sibling. Such actions, steeped in both symbolism and personal vanity, underscored his belief in an unyielding autocracy where his word was law. His style of rule became a theatrical spectacle that both fascinated and unsettled the Senate, who viewed his actions as a departure from the traditional republican virtues that once defined Rome's identity, a dazzling display of power and ambition. One of the most memorable episodes of Caligula's rule was his direct conflict with the Jews, which resonated throughout the empire. Driven by a demand for universal recognition of his divinity, Caligula required all subjects to acknowledge his deified status, a decree that threatened special exclusions historically granted to the Jewish people. In Alexandria, a vibrant Jewish community with long-standing privileges became embroiled in fiery protests. The refusal of local Jews to worship his images ignited tensions, leading to violent confrontations where mobs sacked Jewish quarters and imposed his statues into synagogues. Amid the chaos, a delegation of Jewish leaders sought him out, hoping to negotiate a peaceful resolution to this forced display of loyalty. Despite their appeals, Caligula's dictates remained unyielding. His legate in Syria, Petronius, eventually exercised prudence by delaying the installation of his statue in Jerusalem, aware that such an act would provoke an uncontrollable national revolt. Within a remarkably short time, Caligula's initially promising rule took a dark and turbulent turn as his actions evolved into outright tyranny. Faced with an immense surplus from Tiberius's treasury, he quickly exhausted the state's wealth through extravagant displays of power and personal indulgence. To secure new funds, he imposed extraordinary taxes that stretched the patience of both Romans and provincials alike. His judicial system became a tool for executing alleged traitors and political opponents, while forced legacies and mass confiscations drained the resources of the elite. Notably, King Ptolemy of Mauritania, known for his personal treasure, was executed merely for the sake of accumulating wealth, and his kingdom was promptly annexed as a Roman province. As military ambitions turned into elaborate parades, such as a staged march across the Rhine and a futile attempt at invading Britain, his actions confirmed a descent into insanity. These alarming developments culminated in a climate of fear and conspiracy, leading to an assassination orchestrated by a tribune of the imperial guards in January 41 AD. As a result, Caligula's brief yet extraordinary rule ended in violence, leaving behind a legacy of both excess and cautionary turmoil. Thus, his reign remains a stark historical warning indeed. After Caligula's shocking demise, a sudden shift in power emerged with the influential Praetorian Guard at its helm. Their decisive action in seizing Claudius, the surviving brother of Germanicus, dramatically redefined the succession process. The Praetorians dragged Claudius out of hiding, proclaiming him imperator in an unexpected display of military might and political maneuvering. Despite his unassuming appearance and limited previous political prospects, this unexpected nomination forced the Senate to accept him as the new emperor. The power of the guards effectively overrode any traditional senatorial selection, illustrating that military influence had become a critical factor in imperial politics. This bold move underscored a fundamental shift away from established republican traditions and ushered in a period where the voice of the soldiers could determine the fate of the leadership. With the backing of this formidable force, Claudius stepped into an arena charged with uncertainty and the promise of change, decisively. Claudius was a man of surprising contradictions. At 51 years old, his ungainly stature and unrefined intellect had long kept him out of the limelight of political ambition. Often perceived as clumsy and timid, he had never been taken seriously by those who valued physical vigor and sharp wit in leadership. However, beneath this unremarkable exterior lay a keen mind for details and a scholarly devotion to history and language. His careful, methodical nature sometimes appeared as weakness, but it ultimately allowed him to navigate the treacherous waters of imperial politics. Claudius struggled with decision-making, and his reliance on those around him, particularly his influential wives and trusted freedmen, highlighted his vulnerabilities. Yet, these very traits made him relatable in a chaotic empire, as his steady, thoughtful approach contrasted sharply with the erratic displays of his predecessors. In this way, his character embodied the limitations and strengths of a ruler. Maintaining a delicate balance between continuity and reform, Claudius embarked on a series of policies that echoed the legacies of Augustus and Tiberius while addressing contemporary challenges. In an unprecedented move, he assumed the role of censor, a position once shunned by Augustus due to its direct overreach on the Senate. Through the census of 47 and 48 AD, Claudius revealed a significant expansion in the Roman citizenry, demonstrating the growing importance of provincial inclusion. His reforms granted additional rights to provincial elites, particularly extending citizenship and opportunities for Senate admission to the Gallic Aedui. In doing so, he forged a more inclusive empire that recognized talent beyond the traditional Roman aristocracy. Such administrative innovations contributed to creating a streamlined bureaucratic system, setting the foundation for efficient governance. Claudius's attempts at modernization brought practical benefits, even as they challenged established norms and reshaped the relationship between the Senate and the emperor. Claudius pursued bold military ambitions that extended Rome's reach further than before. Determined to revive the military conquests reminiscent of Julius Caesar, he renewed the long-held dream of occupying Britain. His strategic appointment of experienced legates, including Aulus Plautius and Vespasian, resulted in campaigns that pushed Roman control as far as the Thames. These expeditions marked the beginning of a new provincial frontier, carving out a significant part of the island as the province of Britain. Concurrently, the death of a local client ruler led to the peaceful incorporation of Thrace into the empire. These military actions not only expanded Roman territory but also reinforced the legitimacy of Claudius's rule, demonstrating a proactive approach to defense and conquest. The campaigns showcased both tactical innovation and logistical prowess, solidifying Rome's reputation as an unstoppable force on the European periphery and setting a strategic precedent for future emperors, inspiring further military dreams. During Claudius' reign, influential freedmen emerged as pivotal players in the operation of the imperial government. Figures such as Narcissus, Pallas, Polybius, and later Callistus wielded remarkable power behind the scenes. These former slaves, elevated by the emperor's trust, managed key administrative functions and served as loyal advisors. Their expertise modernized and streamlined bureaucratic processes while amassing wealth for themselves, which occasionally sparked whispers of corruption. Despite this, their contributions cannot be disregarded, as they helped shape an efficient, centralized administrative structure that laid the groundwork for future imperial governance. By bridging the gap between the emperor and the Senate, these freedmen became indispensable in balancing the complexities of Roman politics. Their specialized skills and pragmatic approach allowed Claudius to delegate crucial responsibilities, reinforcing his authority during tumultuous times and ensuring smooth administration through innovative reforms. In their quiet yet decisive manner, these freedmen reshaped the empire's administrative future. Amid the political intricacies of Claudius' court, Agrippina the Younger emerged as a formidable force. Niece to the emperor and later his wife, she wielded unparalleled ambition and political acumen that would eventually alter the course of history. When the scandal involving Messalina surfaced, Agrippina maneuvered with precision, aligning herself with key advisors and exploiting court rivalries to secure her influence. Her involvement in revealing conspiracies, coupled with her marital union to Claudius, was calculated to strengthen her position and further the prospects of her lineage. Through subtle yet effective political maneuvering, she not only neutralized threats, but also laid the groundwork for a succession that favored her son. Agrippina's calculated moves in the corridors of power demonstrated that behind the imperial facade, influential women could shape policies and determine the fate of the empire in unpredictable ways. Her relentless schemes not only astounded, but forever transformed Rome. In a dramatic conclusion to his reign, Claudius met his end under mysterious circumstances. Plagued by rumors of poisoning, it is widely believed that Agrippina orchestrated his demise to clear the way for her own designs. His death, abrupt and violent, left the empire in a state of uncertainty and set off a rapid chain of events that reshaped power. Claudius's passing not only terminated his reign, but also instigated significant political realignments, paving the way for the rise of a new generation of emperors. This grim turning point ignited fierce debates about imperial legitimacy across all of Rome, undeniably. Nero's journey to power was intricately linked to the final chapter of Claudius's reign. Adopted by Claudius in 50 AD and later designated as Nero Claudius Caesar, his rise was both unexpected and calculated. This formal selection signified not only a continuation of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, but also a deliberate move to secure the imperial succession. In the early stages of his rule, Nero began consolidating power by establishing close ties with influential senators and military commanders. This period was marked by a blend of youthful energy and political maneuvering as he navigated a realm filled with court intrigues and shifting alliances. His consolidation of authority set the stage for what many would later view as one of the most dramatic and controversial reigns in Roman history. Through a series of calculated reforms and alliances, he quickly secured his position, earning both admiration and suspicion from his peers, without delay. Nero's political acumen became evident through his strategic use of marriage and alliances that cemented his control over the empire. In a move intended to solidify his standing, he was married to Octavia, a union laden with political symbolism and intricate familial ties. This marriage served as both an alliance with established bloodlines and a statement of imperial intent. At the same time, Nero navigated the turbulent waters of court politics with calculated moves that balanced personal ambition against the interests of the powerful elite. His early political maneuvers blended reform with spectacle, as he introduced innovative policies while maintaining a flair for dramatic public displays that kept both supporters and adversaries on edge. Every decision was a chess move designed to secure his legacy and transform the center of power within Rome. He skillfully maneuvered through shifting allegiances, ensuring his influence grew steadily in an ever-changing court with precision. Nero's era left an indelible mark on Roman history, transcending the immediate boundaries of his rule. His reign, characterized by a blend of artistic ambition and ruthless authority, sparked both admiration and deep controversy. As he expanded the empire's cultural and architectural horizons, Nero also became infamous for his extreme measures and extravagant lifestyle. His actions initiated reforms and undertaken policies that influenced the administrative and social structures of Rome for generations to come. However, his rule was not without scandal. Episodes of brutal repression, political purges, and fiery public performances remain subjects of historical debate and fascination. Over time, Nero's legacy transformed, shifting from that of a wild, unpredictable ruler to a complex symbol of excess and the perils of absolute power. His reign offers timeless lessons on the dangers of unchecked ambition and serves as a warning to future leaders about the cost of authoritarian governance. The echoes of his dramatic governance ripple across centuries, ensuring his place in the long and complicated narrative of the Roman Empire. Scholars continue to debate his methods, yet his impact on art, culture, and political structure remains undeniable. His controversial choices provide valuable insights into the dynamics of power that resonate. In summary, the tumultuous legacies of Caligula, Claudius, and Nero reveal a spectrum of ambition, reform, and excess that shaped Rome. Their stories remain timeless, offering enduring lessons on power, governance, and the intricate dance between authority and popular sentiment. History echoes these leaders' daring and cautionary examples for all.